Hello viewers, welcome to Ekam Academy. Today we'll discuss about Article 19 of Indian Constitution, a very important article. So we'll discuss about what are the provisions in Article 19, to whom these will apply, and what are the provisions you can entitle under Article 19, and when it can be suspended, when it cannot be suspended, and what are the reasonable restrictions which one can actually get imposed under Article 19. We'll understand in this particular video. So first, let us discuss. So what is Article 19? So from Article 19 to Article 22, in Part 3 of Indian Constitution, we have right to freedom. Right? So Article 19 is very much important because in Indian Constitution we have three articles, Article 14, 19 and 21. So these are considered to be golden trinity. So golden trinity of Indian Constitution. So these three articles are considered as golden trinity. So we already have discussed Article 14 and now we are discussing about Article 19. So Article 19 in the original Constitution had 7 freedoms. Right? So we had 7 freedoms. So what are those freedoms? So but before we understand what are those freedoms, we have to remember that these 7 freedoms are only available against the state. Okay, so these are only available against the state and these are not available against the private individuals, right? And you also have to understand these are only available to citizens of India. These are not applicable to the foreigners, right? So and these are not absolute. So these are only applied in case of with some reasonable restrictions. So reasonable restrictions will be imposed even on the freedoms that are guaranteed under Article 19 of Indian Constitution, right? So apart from this, we need to understand this Article 19 can be suspended during the times of external emergency. So external emergency can, even when it was imposed on the grounds of war or external aggression, at that point of time, this freedom under Article 19 and their enforcement can be suspended by the president, but it cannot be suspended in terms of internal emergency. That is one we have to understand. Then what are the freedoms that we have under Article 19? So first let us understand what are the 7 freedoms. So you have freedom of speech and expression, freedom of speech and expression, then freedom of assembling peacefully without arms. So peaceful assembly, so without arms. Peaceful assembly without arms is also one major thing you have to understand, right? So peaceful assembly is one thing, and then freedom of association. So freedom of association is the next thing. Then freedom to move in the territory of India. So you can move. See, under Article 19, whatever the freedom we have to move is within India. But if you wanted to go abroad, if whatever the freedom you enjoy by going abroad is part of Article 21, right to life. And you have an important case called Maneka Gandhi case, very important in that regard, right? So then we have freedom to reside anywhere. Okay, except, so in anywhere, it doesn't mean that you can go and reside in a tribal area or a restricted area. So that is also restricted. Reasonable restrictions will apply to everyone, right? So then we have finally right to practice any profession, trade or business. So 6 fundamental rights are part of Article 19 today, but in the original Constitution we also have another one. The 7th one is right to property or freedom to have any property without any restrictions. But we know this was originally part of Indian Constitution, but this was later repealed by 44th Constitutional Amendment in the year 1978. So they have repealed this and it was inserted in Article 300A of Indian Constitution under Part 12 of Indian Constitution, right? So it was not anymore a fundamental right, it was only a constitutional and legal right, right? So this is one we have to understand. So today we have discussed about the brief points and overviews regarding Article 19. So in the next video, we'll discuss about 19.1a to 19.1b, c, d, e, f, and we'll also understand what are the reasonable restrictions that can be imposed under Article 19 Clause 2. So this is all with respect to today's video. If you like the video and found informative, let me know in the comment section. Thanks for joining. All the very best.